the point of no return. There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world must be silenced. A moment when the doubt, the hesitation, the second-guessing all collapse into a single, irreversible choice. Because the truth is, this nothing changes until you decide. Not wish, not want, not hope. Decide. In a world addicted to comfort, distracted by comparison, and paralyzed by options, the most dangerous thing you can possess is a mind made up. A decided mind is rare. It is forged, not found. It is sharpened on the whetstone of failure, disappointment, and relentless repetition. But once it is formed, it is unstoppable. You can see it in the eyes of history's greats, those who carved destiny out of rock and dared to command the future. Thomas Edison, locked in 1,000 failures, never saw defeat, only steps toward light. Henry Ford told he was insane for imagining an affordable automobile kept building when others stopped dreaming. Walt Disney, fired for lacking imagination, drew the world we now live in from one unwavering vision. These men didn't have more talent, they had more resolve. And that is the difference. Success doesn't bend to the clever. It kneels to the relentless, to the man or woman who refuses to turn back no matter how long the road or how loud the critics. Because the moment you truly decide, your brain stops debating and starts building. The universe itself seems to respond when you burn the boats and storm the shore. But most never do. Most sit in the waiting room of life, watching time pass like it owes them something. They want results without sacrifice, recognition without effort. They're waiting for clarity, for confidence, for the right time. But that moment never comes. Because clarity does not precede decision. It follows it. You move first. You decide. And then the path appears. Look back on your life. Every breakthrough, every turning point came not from a guarantee but from a decision, a leap, a burning of the bridge behind you. That job you took without knowing how it would work. That relationship you pursued without a safety net. That dream you chased when everyone else told you to be realistic. Decided minds don't wait for approval. They don't need applause. They move forward even when the hands are shaking, because they know action cures fear. Decision kills doubt. And one person with a made-up mind is more powerful than 1,000 with good intentions. The moment you decide, you rise above the noise. Now let's speak of belief, the soil from which all decisive action grows. Because a decision without belief is like a seed without soil. It cannot take root. Napoleon Hill said it best: whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. But the modern world twists belief into wishful thinking. They speak affirmations without action. They visualize without discipline. But real belief, true belief, lives in the body. In how you speak, how you walk, how you rise after being knocked down again and again. Belief is built, not imagined. Every rep in the gym when no one's watching. Every hour spent mastering your craft when the world ignores you. Every promise kept to yourself when quitting would be easier. That is belief in motion. A decided mind backed by belief becomes magnetic. People feel it. Opportunities respond to it. Life doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand with your actions and energy. When you believe doors open, that logic can't explain. Not because of magic, but because most people never fully commit and life rewards those who do. So ask yourself, have you truly decided? Have you cut away the plan B, the exit, the excuse? Or are you still living with one foot in and one foot out? A mind split by hesitation is weak, but a decided mind that is steel sharpened in fire. It may tremble, but it does not bend. Decision is the divide. You see, the world doesn't lack talent. It lacks decision. Not the shallow kind. Not the "I'll try this for a while" kind. I mean the kind of decision that makes quitting impossible. The kind that changes how you breathe, how you wake up in the morning, how you walk into a room. The kind that silences excuses and commands obedience from your own mind. That kind of decision rewires your reality. Because once your mind is made up, the body follows. The actions follow, the results follow. And so does resistance. Don't think for 1 second that deciding makes it easier. In fact, the moment you decide, truly decide, everything will rise against you. You'll be tested by time, by silence, by failure, by ridicule. But that test is not punishment. It is purification. It strips away the weak parts of you, the indecision, the fear, the comfort-seeking parasite that has lived in your soul too long. Most turn back when resistance shows up. They misinterpret struggle as a sign to stop. But those who succeed understand the obstacle is the confirmation. It means you're on the path. Because the moment you begin moving toward a higher version of yourself, everything lesser inside you will try to pull you back. You must stand firm. Do you think Lincoln became Lincoln without resistance? Do you think Carnegie built an empire without sacrifice? Every great man was first a man who decided and then refused to undecide. Lincoln failed in business. He lost multiple elections. He battled depression and public ridicule. But he had a cause, and that cause made his mind unshakable. He said, "I walk slowly, but I never walk backward." That is the power of a decided mind, slow, if it must be, but always forward. Carnegie, born into poverty, didn't beg for wealth. He studied it, built it, gave it. He didn't ask for permission. He made up his mind that he would rise, and he did. They didn't wait for motivation. They didn't pray for perfect timing. They started where they were with what they had, and let the furnace of persistence do the rest. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop trying to predict the outcome before you begin. Make a decision, and don't look back. Because here's the truth the world won't tell you. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need commitment. You're not missing the secret. You're missing the standard. Raise it. Raise the bar on what you tolerate from yourself. Raise the standard on how you show up. Raise the demand on your effort, your focus, your hunger. The world respects those who respect their own word. When your actions align with your decision, day in and day out, the world begins to respond. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Because life has no choice but to yield to the man who will not yield. But beware the counterfeit versions of commitment. Beware the empty promises shouted into the wind. Beware the declarations not backed by daily discipline. A decision without action is just noise. A goal without grit is a ghost. Discipline is the language of a decided mind. It's how you speak back to fear. It's how you cast your vote for the person you're becoming, not once, but every day. And make no mistake, this isn't about working 20 hours a day. It's about working with intention, about showing up when you don't feel like it, about doing what must be done not because it's easy, but because it's aligned with your vision. Vision. That's where the power of decision takes root. Because without a clear vision, even a strong decision withers. You must see it vividly, relentlessly, obsessively. Not as a vague hope, but as an inevitable reality. Every empire was first a vision in the mind of a man. Before a single brick was laid, before a dollar was earned, before a hand was shaken, someone saw it. They saw the skyscraper while everyone else saw dirt. They saw the company while others saw a foolish dream. They saw freedom while others accepted chains. Clarity is power. And clarity only comes when you're willing to sit in silence, shut off the noise, and ask yourself the hardest questions of all. What do I really want? What am I willing to suffer for? What must I become to deserve it? Because your vision isn't just what you want, it's what you're willing to pay for. And if you're not willing to bleed for it, it's not your vision. It's a fantasy. Walt Disney had a vision no one could understand. A magical kingdom built on swampland, with smiling animals and make-believe castles. They laughed. They doubted. But he didn't need their belief. He had his own. He said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Not the talent, not the resources, the courage. Because when your vision is clear, courage is automatic. You stop seeking validation. You stop explaining yourself to small minds. You stop playing safe, and you begin to move with an energy that makes people feel something before you say a word. Vision is magnetic. It attracts the right people, the right opportunities, the right breakthroughs, but only when it's paired with motion. The world doesn't reward the visionary. It rewards the one who acts like it's already real. That's what Ford did. He didn't wait for the world to demand automobiles. He made a decision and built until they did. He said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." Read that again, because that sentence is not philosophy. It's law. Your thoughts create your limits. Your vision defines your altitude, and your decisions determine your direction. If your life is chaotic, you don't need more goals. You need more vision. Because vision brings order. It tells you what matters and what doesn't. It filters distraction. It silences fear. And here's the truth: the clearer your vision becomes, the more resistance you will face. Not because you're wrong, but because you're doing something right. When you walk a path, few expect to be misunderstood. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt. Let them mock. That is not your burden to carry. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to be aligned. Aligned with purpose, with conviction, with a higher version of you that refuses to die quietly. And when you walk with vision and decision, something sacred happens. You begin to attract not just things, but people. People who resonate with your fire. People who are on fire themselves. And suddenly, the journey doesn't feel so lonely, because visionaries find visionaries. You see, decision creates clarity. Clarity breeds vision. Vision awakens purpose. And purpose is what makes the suffering worth it. Purpose is not luxury. It is not something you find on a beach in Bali or after a motivational seminar. Purpose is born when you decide that your life will count for something, not someday. Now, most people live disconnected from purpose because they're addicted to comfort. But purpose doesn't live in comfort. It lives in the tension between who you are and who you must become. It lives in the pressure, the resistance, the fire. You will never meet a person of great purpose who hasn't known great pain. Because pain refines. Pain strips away the distractions. Pain forces you to get real with yourself. When you've buried dreams, when you've lost everything, when you've tasted regret and still rise, that is when purpose reveals itself. It doesn't come dressed in applause. It comes when no one is watching, when the lights are off, when you're staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., asking yourself, why am I still here? And if you lean in, if you don't numb it, if you sit with the ache instead of escaping it, you will hear the whisper, there is more, but only if you choose it. Because purpose is a choice. It doesn't force itself on you. It waits, it watches, it tests. It asks, will you endure what others run? From will you keep going when there's no applause? Will you build when nothing is guaranteed? When you say yes, not just once, but daily, that is when the flame inside begins to burn with divine fire. Not a fire that consumes, but one that purifies. It becomes your fuel, your anchor, your compass. And suddenly, things begin to change. You stop chasing dopamine. You stop obsessing over what others think. You start doing the hard things not because you have to, but because you were born to. You are not put here to drift. You are not put here to blend in. You are put here to become fully, fearlessly, and faithfully the person your future is begging for. That future version of you is not watching Netflix. That version isn't scrolling, comparing, or making excuses. She is building, training, sharpening, serving. They are walking with purpose, and purpose doesn't tolerate mediocrity. It doesn't negotiate with weakness. It calls you higher, always higher. But let's make this clear. Purpose is not about ego. It's not about fame, followers, or fortune. Purpose is about service. It's about impact. It's about living in such a way that when you're gone, the world cannot forget you were here. It's about knowing that someone's breakthrough is on the other side of your obedience. That your story might be the key that unlocks another person's prison. That your scars might be the map that leads someone else home. And none of that happens until you decide. Decide to stop wasting time. Decide to live like your breath is borrowed. Decide that your life is not a mistake, it's a message. But here's the part most won't tell you. Once you find purpose, the pain doesn't end. In fact, it often intensifies. Because now you're dangerous. Now the enemy of your soul knows you're awake. And everything false, fragile, and fearful in you will rise in protest. Good. Let it rise. Because it can only be destroyed once it's exposed. Let the doubt come and then crush it with truth. Let the fear whisper and then drown it with action. Let the temptation knock and then slam the door with discipline. You are not weak. You are not small. You are not random. You are here on assignment. And a person on assignment walks different, talks different, chooses different. They don't get distracted by noise. They don't fall in love with comfort. They don't flirt with compromise. They move through storms with their eyes fixed on the mountain. They bleed without quitting. They walk alone if necessary, because purpose is more important than popularity. That is the power of a decided mind. It doesn't beg for easy. It demands meaning.